This episode is brought to you by The Park People. The Park People is a nonprofit working with communities to plant trees and improve parks for a healthy, resilient Denver. In times of funding and resource scarcity, the Park People need your support now more than ever. Support the Park People by donating via their Colorado Gives page, and your gift will be doubled thanks to an anonymous donor. Your donation ensures all Denverites have access to the benefits of trees, parks, and green spaces. Home of the Denver Digs Trees program, the Park People has planted over 70,000 trees throughout Denver. Learn about the benefits of planting trees this Colorado Gives Day at theparkpeople.org. That's theparkpeople.org. This episode is brought to you by the Dolores Project. The Dolores Project builds belonging for people experiencing homelessness, especially women, transgender, and non-binary individuals, through safe, dignified shelter and supportive housing. This Colorado Gives Day, your gift helps bridge the gap left by lost federal funding, keeping doors open and critical services available year-round. A donation to the Dolores Project means access to meals, behavioral health care, housing navigation, and community connection. Every dollar stays local and strengthens the community of care right here in Denver. Give today at coloradogives.org/The Dolores Project. That's coloradogives.org/The Dolores Project. You can make sure everyone has a place and a community to belong.
Today on CityCast Denver, Thanksgiving is over and the nights are getting longer, darker, and colder. It could be a really bleak time for downtown businesses. So me and Westward editor Patty Calhoun are talking about a bunch of new ideas to bring some light to the darkness and keep the mayor's downtown revitalization momentum going. Plus, shoplifting. Is it getting bad enough for lawmakers to take action? Today is Tuesday, December 2nd. I'm Paul Caroli, and here's what Denver's talking about. Patty Calhoun, welcome back to CityCast Denver.
Thanks so much.
How are you doing? It's the holidays.
Holidays are pretty much the same as non-holidays in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I always try to get into feeling something about it. And I think it's not going to happen. I don't know. Maybe it'll happen.
We did lots of cooking.
That's
we
nice.
Went to various activities. I told you I went to the Sand Creek Massacre Memorial Program at the Public Library, which is an important celebration. It's not exactly perky.
Mm-hmm. The anniversary, of course, is on November 29th of the
November.
The massacre itself.
The group that normally, they'd started in Eads that day at the location. The Sand Creek Massacre location had come into town for this program. And then we're going back to their various reservations.
Patty, you know what I wanted to ask you about is this is kind of like best of season now. We're in like end of the year wrap-ups. We're getting there. And I always enjoy the conversation about what is the word of the year. So I'm going to put you on the spot. What would be Denver's word of the year right now? Just off the top of your head. Do you have a pick?
Limbo.
Limbo. Why?
Because I think we are anticipating some great things happening that haven't happened yet. I mean, we're anticipating the comeback of the mall. Excuse me.
But it's back.
16th Street.
It's back.
It's back. It's 16th Street. We're anticipating more money coming from that.
Yes, we're all
we
hoping.
really feel in limbo, I think, right now.
Well, let's talk about 16th Street. That's kind of the news of the week. A lot of downtown news, a lot of retail news. 'Tis the season, of course. We're going to go through a bunch of stories. A bunch of interesting stuff has been happening. But the one I wanted to start with is light. Denverites contemplating a new way to bring life back downtown. I'm not talking about the drones that I do want to discuss in a little bit, but the proposal from the Denver Theater District that I saw in the Denver Business Journal today was to install a giant screen in Skyline Park just off 16th Street. Apparently this group likes putting up screens. They manage screens downtown. What can you tell us about this for context?
Well, Katie Cheshire, our former writer, wrote that piece for the Denver Business Journal. The Downtown Theater District has been going since 2007, I think, and it was when there wasn't a lot happening in the way of bringing art downtown. So it's, 16 blocks? So it encompasses the whole Denver Performing Arts Complex. Obviously, it goes all the way to Skyline because that's where the clock tower is. So a lot of the more artistic venues are involved. I don't know if it's a bid or a JID, but they've been taking tax money
It's one of
in
these
from
weird
that area.
public-private partnerships.
And 90% of it goes back into art. So it's not just big screens, but they've done the clock tower, the projections on the clock tower that have been going for several years, which are really popular. They work with Understudy, which is in the Colorado Convention Center, which puts on a lot of great shows. So they have they've had screens, they've had a digital display, they do a lot of things. These new screens in Skyline, I've seen screens in Skyline before. This one doesn't sound like a bad idea right now. Like, so they can do movies, they can do other activities that, say, McGregor Square doesn't do.
Right, yeah. 28 feet wide and 15 feet high is the proposal. They're hoping for DDA money. That's Downtown Development Authority money. Good point. And the plan is moving forward with a hopeful debut in spring of 2026. And they made specific point in the article of saying this is not an ad. It's not for ads. It's to promote local, like, community arts and artistic endeavors, which I thought was kind of weird.
Well, it's not weird in the sense if you want to tell people, hey, we're not asking for money so we can put up commercials. That makes sense.
I guess that's
true. But I mean,
true.
there are no commercials on the clock tower, but there are images projected there almost every night.
I do think, like, the idea of light as a way to bring life back to downtown is really compelling. You know, having lived in downtown last winter, the darkness of the long nights is so depressing. The darkness and the cold. And I do love the idea that there are people that just want to put up big screens and big lights. But personally, and I know this is my taste, I don't mind if they're ads. Sometimes a nice giant ad, like, is a lively thing. Makes it feel like a big city.
Well, I guess they're not going to ask for DDA money to put up something that is only ads.
Well, they could. I mean, they could get a nice loan. Maybe they could make some money. I looked at their financials. They're in the red in 2024. They're losing money, and it's been touch and go since the pandemic, for sure.
Yeah, no question, because the properties downtown aren't making a lot of money. And I think the idea of light is smart in a lot of ways because you want to get people to come downtown at night. So they'll eat, they'll go to the play, they'll have something else to do besides one activity. They'll throw in another activity along with it. And it's in some ways, it's easier than bringing people back downtown during the day. What is it? The office vacancy rate is still like 40%. People are working at home. I think Denver has the highest work at home rate for a downtown of any major city in the country. That's a problem because those people aren't going out to lunch. They're not running to Walgreens to buy toothpaste or sushi. You know, you can get sushi at the Walgreens downtown.
Oh, I know. I've still not mustered the courage to try it, but
I have. It's been there for a while. Not the actual sushi itself, but the concept. So that's the good news. It's fresh. They're there. There's the sushi chef.
It's fresh.
Every day.
Okay, let's move on. So another story is you had a nice piece about this. The pavilions. City Council is voting tonight as we record. Last night, as this episode airs on Tuesday, voting tonight, and they're expected to approve the mayor's proposal to buy the pavilions, the mall, and the parking lots behind it for $68 million in Downtown Development Authority dollars. What do you think the pavilions needs most, Patty, based on this reporting that you had Benito Kelty do?
It, first of all, needs repairs of the current facility. I mean, if the escalators aren't working and you get stuck in elevators, people aren't going. So that's an immediate fix. It needs tenants. There just aren't many tenants there. I think it's like 60% occupied, maybe less.
Maybe 65,
and most of those tenants are out at night. So the shops close at 7. So there's nothing to do if you're leaving the movie theater or you're leaving dinner at Maggiano's. There's nothing to lure you into the few great shops that exist, like I Heart Denver, which is so wonderful, but they can't stay open all night.
Yeah.
But you should have more shopping options to get people in and activated. So that's immediately, and I know they're talking about, assuming this passes, and I can't see why council wouldn't have passed it last night, but they're going to bring in retailers. They're going to work on getting retailers there and enliven it. Then those parking lots behind that you and I've discussed before, by buying those parking lots, they're able to collect the revenue in the meantime while they develop a plan that allows them to build a development or propose a development behind the pavilions that would enable you to enliven the back, like have entrances through the back of the pavilions.
Yeah.
If there's a hotel, if there are apartments, you go in and you go to the coffee shops, you go to the shops, you activate it through the day, you'd have entrances front and back. And I think that's smart. And there will be parking, although it'll be underground, and I know you hate that. But there will be parking.
Do I hate that?
You hate
I think
that.
it's okay. I think Denverites hate that. That's what I think. I think Denverites don't want to go park down underground.
I think Denverites are happy now to find any parking place anywhere.
I feel like when we talked to the mayor about this, he was like, "We're going to put out an RFP, a request for proposals, and we're going to try to hire someone who has a vision for this." So that's what I'll be watching: is who comes forward with a great vision for the pavilions. Because we've heard him talk about the hotel and maybe about building housing, but like, is there someone who has some brilliant idea that they could use to redevelopment that
Right.
whole
And
block?
then the idea would be to sell it so the city isn't operating it. I mean, so you come up with a plan, whether the city pays the person to do the plan. If there's an RFP, that sounds like what it's going to be. And then the plan is so great, you inspire a developer or some other property owner to come buy it and run it, build it and run it.
Yeah.
I think the idea of putting more hotels in, if you look at the hotel vacancy rate, those hotels are usually pretty full because of conventions. The convention center is packed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's booked. So this is so close to the convention center that you could probably put another hotel. I mean, you've got the Hyatt right nearby, but that's full. So for conventions, if you come up with the right hotel, that would probably be at least a good starter.
This episode is brought to you by the Colfax Avenue Business Improvement District. It's back, baby. The best time of the year to snag the present that's going to keep your place on the top of the nice list for another year. A bag of Colfax. Bag of Colfax is Colfax Ave's annual curated gift bag filled with 4 to 7 hand-selected products from iconic Colfax Avenue businesses. Past bags have featured treats and treasures from the likes of Champagne Tiger, 303 Boards, Pampered Paws, The Learned Lemur, and so many more. And this year, there's a very special gift inside, unlike anything offered before. I'm not going to spoil the surprise, but I can say this. It comes from one of the most beloved Colfax businesses, and they are truly pouring their heart into it. A standard bag is only $60, and the VIP option is $85. But hurry, these are going to sell out. They go on sale November 29th, and pickup starts the first week of December at the Learned Lemur. All orders will be fulfilled by December 23rd. You can get yours online today at colfaxab.com/Colfax-programs. That's colfaxab.com/Colfax-programs. This episode is brought to you by MultiPass. Creative communities are built on an ecosystem that relies on artists, producers, venues, and fans. But there's so much more happening behind the scenes that's important too. This is where MultiPass comes in. More than just your average ticketing platform, MultiPass was made by event hosts for event hosts. And when you buy tickets through MultiPass, you unlock a special chat feature so you can connect directly with fellow fans of your favorite comedian, DJ night, dance party, and more. Find your new bestie at a local show, even before you go. MultiPass, designed to help everyone in the event ecosystem win, not just the platform. Learn more at multipass.com. That's multipass.com.
And what are all these people coming in for conventions going to do when they're not at the conventions? That's the next piece of news. And this is kind of a fun one. Business Den reported today.
The Ice Cream Museum.
Exactly, the Ice Cream Museum. The developers who just opened the F1 arcade bar, this is Magnetic Capital, want to open a museum of ice cream in Denver at 1525 Market. So not quite on 16th Street, a little bit further away, closer to the Union Station end.
Quite close to the Denver Immersive.
I thought the same thing, the new Denver Immersive Theater that's opening in the spring.
And of course, for DDA funding, you do not have to be on 16th Street. You just have to be within that district, which now, because of city council, stretches through Civic Center Park.
Yeah, so I think they're a good candidate for DDA money, I think. I mean,
$7 million for an ice cream museum?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very popular. This is the thing is, it's not a new. I think this is going to be a knock for some
why can't
people.
it pay for itself?
Well, maybe that's a good point, and maybe they will if they don't get the money. But it could be a good investment for the city. I think that's what they're looking at right now. But it sounds like it's like a franchise. This is something that started in New York City like 15 years ago, this Museum of Ice Cream, and it's opened in a handful of cities around the country, and it's always been a hit. It's like a very Instagrammable place, like the Museum of Illusions on 16th Street that the Downtown Development Authority told me is the most popular business on 16th Street.
Because of all the competition from popular businesses on 16th. No, but that
Fair
museum
point.
is good.
Is it good? I've never been.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, and it's a perfect spot. It doesn't take that long to go through. Perfect spot if you're a tourist who wants to come in. But remember, there's not a lot of competition right now.
That's true.
On 16th. The Museum of Ice Cream, we also have, let's not forget the, 700,000 request for the ice cream place. I think it's Sunday, to renovate a building and expand. And remember, that's supposed to be an Instagrammable ice cream place. That'll be more than you go to get a cone. You'll have the ice cream experience. That's how it's been billed as
That's
a
true.
great reason for DDA money.
That's true.
You may not know that the root beer float was invented in Colorado.
I have heard this, yeah.
Okay. But
I'm
that
dubious,
is really, as far as I can tell, our only true connection to ice cream. We have many great ice cream places in town, but why we need an ice cream museum, I'll be interested to find out.
Yeah, I mean, to take a
I need to do more research
to take a
on
picture in front of is what it is. But that is you're
Well,
you're
then
so
go to the
right.
can, the little man can up in Lowhigh.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. But it's not what the kids want to take photos in front of these days. They
Oh,
want
yes,
some
they're taking photos in
pastels.
front
They
of
want
it.
some if they can handle the stink of that gas trench thing.
I don't think
Remember
it's still
that?
stinking, but I'll
You don't
have to go
think?
check. No,
I need to go
I don't
check,
think
too.
it's checking. It is decked out for the holidays.
Good for them. They do a nice job, the little man people with the holidays.
Oh, they do a lot. And the factory just opened too on
Yeah.
Colfax.
Yeah.
And these are people who are not getting city money for their projects.
Your point about the fact that we have another ice cream shop opening that's supposed to be an immersive experience is very funny. The possibility that we could have two rival immersive ice cream things downtown, I want that future just for the laughs. But the root beer float, why not have a root beer float one? Make the Denver Museum of Ice Cream different by making it float specific. How about that?
Why not just put it on the Platte or on the Cherry Creek and have it float all the way? A floating ice cream museum.
A floating.
Although don't forget the times people wanted to do gondolas and punts along the creek.
That's true.
No, I don't think
That's
anyone's
true.
come up with that yet for DDA money.
I want it. This was the year that I fell in love with the crazy ideas for downtown, I think. I just want to hear more.
Well,
The
we haven't heard,
gondola, so good.
There's the Ferris wheel concept. There's the tower concept, the gondolas. We're not done with all those.
Amazing. Listeners, give me more. Give me your craziest idea.
I think the December 1st City Council meeting is the first official vote on DDA money.
Is that true?
I think it's the
feel
first
like they
one. The
talked
rest
about it.
are rolling out in December, but I think the pavilions got fast-tracked.
Well, I mean, they're probably going to pass it, right? I mean, is there any reason to think they won't? We're talking before it. It'll already happen. We're just going to sound silly if anything.
I have to say, the argument for why the pavilions needs to be saved and what can be done with it is more compelling than an ice cream museum. A lot.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, before the pandemic, the pavilions was doing great. They had like 95% occupancy. I do question why the city, they feel like they need to get
Were
involved
you
with
in
this.
it before the pandemic?
Yeah.
I mean, this is
It
people's
didn't-
memory of what downtown was like before the pandemic. I looked up what I wrote in 2017 about the mall and what people didn't like about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you, what was going on in the pavilions didn't thrill people. There still wasn't a lot to do at night. Not a lot of great shops. The same arguments about the mall
I wonder.
that we are now hearing on 16th, like not a lot of great shops. So I think the concerted effort to really make 16th a better spot, I'm all for it. Let's just hope it works.
Yeah, it could be nice. Could be nice. It just feels like the government sometimes, when it gets
Limbo.
involved in the market like this, can mess things up and make it worse.
I would rather use the word limbo than frightening.
Yes. Limbo. Limbo's a good word of the year. Limbo's a good word of the year. Oh, you know what? I want to tell you about drones. We started with drones. I want to tell you my thing on drones. Have you gone on I-25 downtown
When the drones
while
are
the drones
overhead?
are happening?
Yes.
Have you thought about crash data? Because I'm so distracted. I just want to see what those drones are doing. And I'm not paying attention to the road.
Right. So basically at 7:00, your goal should be don't be on the highway
100%.
or really any road downtown.
Yeah.
Just stay off the road at 7:00 when the show starts. Except Sunday night, there was no show. And it was because of
What
the
gives?
weather. And I'm trying to figure out what exactly about the weather. It's kind of like all the planes that were canceled when we had 0.1% snow, of an inch of snow.
Yeah, that sounds like baloney. I think it's because it was a Broncos game. That's what I think. I think whoever was operating the drones wanted to watch the games.
Maybe.
All right, we're going to go to a quick break and then come back, talk about shoplifting.
This episode is brought to you by the Ballpark District. Celebrate the holiday season at Elfin' Around Ballpark, December 13th from 3:30 to 8 p.m. Explore and sip, snack, and shop your way to cool prizes and collect stickers in Denver's ballpark community. Think bingo meets bar crawl, but with bells on. There's a little something for everyone who could use a little holiday magic at this fun and free event. No need to sit on the shelf this season, as this event is designed for solo explorers and large groups alike. Don't miss out on a chance to ring in the holidays the ballpark way and win cool prizes donated by local businesses and other fun ballpark favorites, including the Hello Colorado Rockies prize package. Elf or other festive attire is encouraged. No purchase necessary to participate. Bar locations and the Elfin' Around after party are 21 and up. Start your journey at any of the businesses or check in at the official workshop at 2101 Larimer Street, where a gift awaits. Find out more at elfinaroundballpark.eventbrite.com or find the Ballpark Denver on Instagram and Facebook. This episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I love Christmas lights, pine and fir-scented candles, and of course, getting a little cozy and watching holiday movies. No better way to elevate the snuggly experience than with Cozy Earth's Bubble Cuddle Blanket. Cozy Earth's Bubble Cuddle Blanket combines comfort and style with its distinctively textured bubble design and ultra-soft faux fur feel. Featuring an extended plush pile and mid-weight construction, it's the perfect size for me and my husband and our 4-year-old to snuggle up and watch Home Alone on repeat. I asked my son what he thinks about the Bubble Cuddle Blanket, and this is what he said.
I love the Cozy Earth Bubble Cuddle Blanket.
I love cuddling with you in the Cozy Earth Bubble Cuddle Blanket. What about you?
Yes.
Should we get Daddy to cuddle with us? No, it's just you and me.
Yeah, no, me and you.
I love it. I love you.
Yeah.
Head to CozyEarth.com and use my code CozyDenver for up to 20% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, be sure to mention you heard about Cozy Earth right here on CityCast Denver. Give the gift of comfort that lasts beyond the holidays and carries into the cozy new year. Go to CozyEarth.com.
And we're back. Our next story, it's the biggest shopping season of the year, one many local small businesses rely on. But according to a new study from the Common Sense Institute, shoplifting is way up. It was up 22.4% in Colorado in 2024 relative to 2023, and nearly 10% higher than a decade ago. The analysts of this report, behind this report,
Mitch
including
Morrissey.
former Denver DA Mitch Morrissey, recommend making it easier to charge perpetrators with a felony. Patty, what have you been hearing about shoplifting lately?
It's a scourge across the country. We know that's a problem, and it really started emerging as that during the pandemic when you didn't have as many clerks around. You didn't, people just weren't able to watch that carefully or come that close. I mean, the King Supers I used to go to, a poor guy got fired just because he followed shoplifters out, an employee.
I talked to that guy.
Yeah, and
I know
he
that
got
guy.
fired. Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah,
Is he working
he said-
somewhere now?
No, but he did have a lot of gripes about the company that the King Supers hires to provide security services.
Right.
The other interesting detail he told me was the pay was $38 an hour to be the security guard at King Supers. That
As
it
opposed to
asks
him,
check
who was the
receipts.
employee.
No, if
I thought he was
maybe
the
it's a different guy.
It might have been a
because I
different
talked
guy.
to a security guy.
It was a King Supers employee who followed them out and
Okay.
took
Different guy.
pictures because they just walked right past the security guy. Yeah, I think there's got to be some middle ground on what you're going to charge, how you stop people, how you're going to charge them. I would like it not to be like they ask you for your receipt. If you go to some grocery stores now, they're asking you for your receipt as you leave. Just to be sure you haven't shoplifted.
Sure, they're locking stuff up more.
The locking is crazy.
It is crazy.
And I understand to lock up laundry detergent and you go to Walgreens and it takes a lot to get almost anything.
That reminds me, there was this other thing I read in CNN Business. They were like, this whole shoplifting crisis narrative is over exaggerated, according to William Blair retail analysts. They said the impact is actually less than it seems, and they've been they say that these companies that are talking about shoplifting are just using it as an excuse for inventory mismanagement and strategic mistakes. Walgreens' then chief financial officer even said, quote, maybe we cried too much about lost merchandise and overspent on security measures.
I would say the truth is somewhere between the CSI report that Mitch Morrissey did and what you just are quoting. Because CSI, they like drama. They like problems that they can solve by writing reports. So this is going to be a big problem for them. And this guy is now saying it's no problem at all. It is a problem, but it is not as bad as people say it is.
I wonder if it's one of those things and like looking at the pandemic and like trying to understand the difference between the perceptions of what was going wrong and like what was actually going wrong and how that's shaping the way that we're continuing on with life, either trying to recreate what was happening before or try some new way. You know, I mean, that's so abstract. But
no,
like,
but I'm with you. I
mean?
remember when the Target downtown was locking up aluminum foil.
It's
because
weird.
People were using it allegedly to smoke meth.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we need to do that. I guess
would
we're
hope
making
not.
these choices
But
now, though.
You would want to also make sure clerks feel safe. So that's the biggest issue.
Do you what about this recommendation from Morrissey and his co-authors about lowering the threshold to charge someone with felony theft to $1,000 down from $2,000? This is their proposal. I think this would presumably help businesses, I guess.
Yeah, it would help businesses. It would also keep miscreants off the street, maybe. I don't have a huge problem with that because you're thinking if you've got a desperate mother who needs diapers and is swiping diapers and has never done it before and will never do it again, you don't want her charged with a felony.
But you do
But
want,
you do
like,
want
organized
repeat
crime.
organized, crime ring, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. The quote from the Denver Gazette, which had an editorial supporting this recommendation, said, "Are there some state lawmakers willing to draft a bill making that change in the law? Ruling Democrats at Colorado's perennial soft on crime legislature may be loath to clamp down, but the high price of retail theft is only rising and it's costing us all." They're talking about the sales tax revenue implications of this shoplifting quote unquote crisis. What do you think about like the mood at the legislature on city council when it comes to crime?
Well, they're different places. I mean, city council and the legislature. I would think that they would be willing to go to a 1,000 threshold if someone is going to take that. And will it be tied to other issues like will people be able to get lawyers if they need them, if they're impoverished? But $1,000, I would say you probably need to, if you are poor and you're just trying to buy staples or find a staples, I would say $1,000 is a lot to take.
What I found interesting about this whole thing kind of speaks to your point about common sense is to just like drumming up drama, was their own report said high value shoplifting is less common. At the high end, only 4.3% of incidents involve theft of $1,000 or more in goods. So this proposed change of like reducing the felony threshold would
Won't
only
do that
affect
much.
like a tiny, tiny percentage of the shoplifting that they have documented in their own report. It's very odd.
Odd, but it would seem it
understand that.
probably wouldn't make that much difference to law enforcement. It seems like maybe an easy fix.
Yeah.
I don't see why lawmakers wouldn't go for it, but
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on the mood at the state capitol. Hard to say.
there's so many other issues coming up.
That's true. One last thing on this like pro-business friendliness, like obviously relevant around the holidays. People love going out to eat with their friends and family. And then also in January, our minimum wage is scheduled to go up. The minimum wage issue seems to be coming back. Edgewater City Council just voted to decouple their tipped minimum wage and their minimum wage. The tipped minimum wage is going to stay at $13.50, but the minimum wage is going up to $18.17. They're allowed to do this thanks to a new bill at the state capitol that passed, and Governor Polis signed it earlier this year in response to restaurateurs complaining about rising labor costs. I think listeners are familiar with this issue. But the reporting from the Denver Post says Mayor Mike Johnston is gearing up to push on this again in the new year.
Well, I think probably he will because restaurants have been pushing for it. Now, who will go for it in council? That's a good question. I think easily 3 people would go for limiting the tipped minimum wage. Now, the minimum wage is going up higher than $18 in Colorado this year.
In Colorado, and in
next
Denver,
year.
It's going to be up north of 20, I think.
And, you know, Boulder County also just did basically the same thing as Edgewater. That
Yeah.
They are talking about Boulder County, not Boulder itself, but limiting the tip minimum wage. And the argument was, when it went before the legislature, is that the people who are getting tips, who are, you know, are earning so much more than the back of the house people at restaurants. And the legislature wasn't able to really push that through the way the restaurants were hoping, but allowed municipalities to come up with their own plan. So Edgewater, it's interesting to see that Edgewater, as soon as it went to them, they're like, yeah, we agree. It should be, the people are not going to lose money who are having the tipped minimum wage level lower than it could have gone. They're not going to lose money. Will Denver buy that argument? I think it's going to be a good and tough fight.
I think they will lose money, but it's not the people that are often cited in the debate. I think it's folks that are like, they're not making less than minimum wage. No one's making less than minimum wage. It's about a tip credit. So
right.
you're getting
you can't
tips
make
that are
less
way
than
higher.
minimum wage
that's elite.
if you work in a restaurant.
It's about the people that are going to lose like $6,000 from like a $75,000 salary.
Tell me how many restaurants in Edgewater is that going to happen?
Boy,
I mean, you don't have
a handful,
Yeah.
half dozen in Edgewater.
Maybe, yeah.
But it'll be
Denver is going to be a big debate because you have restaurants where there is a huge gap
yeah.
in what people earn.
Well, that's what I'm interested in, because I agree with you. We've talked to city councilors all year about this, to the point where I was just like, this issue is dead in the water. Not a single one of these people is interested in this change at all. It seems politically toxic. So I was so surprised for reading the Denver Post that it sounds like the mayor is keen on bringing this back.
Well, as you know, the city and Visit Denver work together. They hired 2 restaurant czars to do a 6-month study of what are the problems for restaurants. And tipped minimum wage is one of them. Safety is one of them. Permitting with the city is definitely one of them. So I think he can at least bring it to council. If he can't get it through, it's not his fault.
Yeah, I don't know. Politically, I am curious why he would be choosing this moment. Like, to be using this, whatever political capital that he's collected from the success of the Vibrant Denver bond. I wonder why this would be the issue that he would take on. This seems so challenging on this council when they just unanimously voted against his budget. I mean, which was ceremonial, but like, it seems like there's not a great relationship right now. The flock camera is similar.
Right.
Like,
well, this is very different from
debate.
flock cameras too, though. I mean, except that flock cameras are hated. If you are really pro business to a certain extent, and like pro businesses that bring people to town, you have people who are leaving, or like restaurateurs who make a pretty good case for why they're not opening new places in Denver. They're instead going to Englewood, or they're going to Littleton, or they're going to Lyons. They're going somewhere where they have better permitting and they have lower wages.
Sure.
So you could see if he really wants to make a case for making Denver more friendly to businesses, not businesses like Quick Trip, but businesses that are locally owned restaurants. They're saying this is a thing they really need.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why I've always found it to be an interesting story. I can see it from all sides. I mean, there's so many, it's so complicated, and so many different people have different stakes on it and different opinions on it, and how we regulate wages is
it certainly should be
fascinating.
discussed.
Yeah.
Just the same way all the permitting complaints should be discussed that restaurants have come up with compared to other cities.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I wonder. Well, you know what? We're almost at time here. Since Bree is out, we're gonna, I think, hold our listener comments and questions till next week. And in lieu of that, I'll just say, Patty Calhoun, thanks so much for joining me.
My pleasure.
See you next time. That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed the show, why not take a minute to tell former Denver DA Mitch Morrissey about us, rate the show wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to our morning newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. And remember, you can support the show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Denver neighbor at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you then.
This episode is brought to you by the new CityCast Denver Perks program. That's right, we're doing something new, and it's going to save you money. Every week, we're highlighting great local businesses that are offering killer deals exclusively to CityCast Denver fans, so you can support local and save some green. It's a win-win. Like right now, Sexy Pizza is offering 20% off pizzas through January 31st with the code CityCast. To see a full list of deals, just visit denver.citycast.fm/perks. It's a great way to check out new restaurants, shops, and events in your city without breaking your budget. And I love that for you. And if you have a local business, you can offer your deals on our perks page too. Visit denver.citycast.fm/perks to learn more today.